What's up, guys? Welcome back to Eat Your Short Talk, your podcast for all things self care movies. If this is your first time enjoying Eat Your Short Talk, welcome. We're glad to have you. This is episode 73. I'm Jay Watson.
And I'm Cathy Castle.
And Cathy and I this week are going to jump into something a little bit different. We're going to get into fears and insecurities, and not the fears like external fears like fear of spiders or fear of heights.
Oh, they're legit.
Yeah, they're legit. Well, I mean, we're not for the sake of this discussion. It's not so much about that, but I do want
We'll
to kind of touch on.
categorize those. We'll
Yes,
categorize.
I want to touch on that because, yeah, it's not.
Hanging with us.
Yes, put a pin in that.
In that.
Um,
On our imaginary corkboard of self-care.
so yeah, we're going to dive into that because we all have them. Nobody escapes fears and insecurities. We all have them. So we're gonna talk about that. But before we do anything else, we're gonna do our weekly check-in. So what's going on with the Castle?
I'm still trying to integrate back into life from vacation. It's still hard. It's still hard for me. I feel like I don't know. Life's been busy. It's hot out. It's busy. We did go away to the beach on a little camping trip this weekend, which was nice. And
I saw your post of the Jamaican joint.
Oh yeah. So yeah, down in West Ocean City, some people know West Ocean City for like fishing or the white marlin stuff.
Yeah.
Starts and ends there. Maybe Sunset Grill's a restaurant where big boats come in. The street behind it is not where the big boats come in. That's where the little boats come in, the little people boats. Like,
right.
I didn't go there. But yeah, so there's a couple other restaurants on that other side of Sunset, and there's this little Jamaican place called One Love, and it is adorable. And the woman, Franny, who runs it, is from Jamaica. And I believe it's her husband, is from Ethiopia. So they have a unique kind of food style that they've created, but a lot of Jamaican food. And oh my gosh, it's so good. They have smoothies and jerk chicken things and breakfast or whatever. But I like a little adventure, a little cultural experience. So if I find somebody that's from a different area and they have food that I don't usually eat or know how to make, I'm all about it. And they're so friendly. They come out and they're talking to you, and then their friends roll in, and I'm like, hey, how do you know them? Are you related? No, I'm a friend. I'm from New York. I just rode in here one day and met Franny 40 years ago. And then I'm like, and how do you fit in? And she said, I used to date his brother. And, then we had this old little conversation, and it was so fun. And we had a really good smoothie.
So that right there is kind of a Cliff Notes version of how Cathy travels. Let me walk into a restaurant, and I'll walk into the back of the kitchen and talk to and interview everybody that works in the back of the kitchen.
So I'm like, they were all my buddies when I was walking out. And we were talking about cruising. I'm telling about my bootsy if you go to Bermuda. And it was like we had the best time. That was one of the highlights of my weekend. I enjoyed that very much. But check it out, One Love. And there's so many good places back there in West Ocean City. And because that's where we stay when we're camping a lot. And then you don't have to get into the crowds going to the beach because they have everything.
West Ocean City's kind of grown, and kind of like there's some like hot spots in West Ocean City now.
Yeah, and I always go to this. It's called Seabourn, and it's a fish place where they send the big boats out in the ocean. They go in the deep big blue and bring.
What's the big red building?
Is that Harborside?
What's that?
Not Harborside, is it?
No, if you're going to Ocean City on the left, the big
on the left,
right on the water. Is it? I keep wanting to say Phillips, but it's not Phillips. It's but it's like a big, not a chain, not a big chain, but there's like multiple of those.
I'm gonna have to look that up before we.
That's
leave.
kind of the big red roof.
I never go there
with the gazebo at the end of the dock. Yeah.
Yeah. I would go to the right, not the left.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I did. It was good. How about you?
So, kind of what the update for me is kind of, and I texted you the other day talking about Gen X that had a kind of a bad week with losing some
Oh yeah.
kind of iconic figures from,
Yeah.
like our childhood and how we grew up. Of course, there was Malcolm Jamal Warner, who was Theo
The
Huxtable on the Cosby Show.
Yeah, that was
Um,
sad, right?
yeah,
Like
he passed. He
everybody loved
drowned.
him.
He drowned apparently.
Yeah,
Um,
that's sad. And I think his daughter may have been with him. That's
yeah, and
the
then
thing. That's just sad.
Ozzy Osbourne, which it's funny. I was never a fan of Ozzy
Yeah,
at the time.
right.
Ozzy's music is kind of one of those that kind of like, if you go to any sporting event, they play Crazy Train on the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
every sporting event and that's how I kind of got into Ozzy. Was not at the time when I was, you know, teenager or 20s or whatever. It
Me
was
too.
later on discovered his music. Mama, I'm Coming Home, and he's got a song with Post Malone
Oh,
that's
does he?
fantastic.
I don't know that I knew that.
It's called "Take What You Want From Me."
I love Posty.
It's new. It's probably only
Really?
3 or 4 years old.
I need to listen to that.
They premiered it on one of the award shows. It's
Huh.
so good, so good. But
I'll
yeah,
look
it's
that up.
there's just some iconic songs. Like I said, "Crazy Train." Man, that thing got legs later on at every sporting.
Yeah.
You go to every sporting event and they play Crazy Train
Well,
every time.
I feel like some of those old guys that were maybe back in the day, like Kiss. Take Kiss for example. I remember when I first liked Kiss back in the day. My mother was like, "Oh my God, what Satan are you worshiping right now?" And it's just so funny now because Kiss is like so pop icon, harmless. But I felt like Ozzy was the same thing. If you like Alice Cooper or Ozzy or
Oh
Kiss.
yeah, wasn't it Ozzy that would bite the head off bats on stage?
But I heard that he thought it was a rubber bat, and it wasn't. It was a real one. I don't know if this is true or not,
Or
but
at the very least, he was portraying that he was doing it, or.
either way, got him a lot of
But
marketing.
then later on, I remember when they had the reality show, The
Oh
Osbournes,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah. You saw a different side of him.
yeah, I mean, he just like if you were to look at him without him talking, you'd think, oh yeah, he's a rock guy. But like to listen to him talking all, like he's
Oh,
thoughtful
British guy.
and he's quiet and just like you don't like personality wise, you don't connect the two. Um, and then of course Hulk Hogan, which look if you grew up, if you were our age and back in the what I call the heyday of professional wrestling, Hulk Hogan was like the all American hero for kids our age that watch pro wrestling. Like he
I
was
even liked it.
like the hero.
Yeah,
Like and I've talked Cathy a lot about, there were certain people and certain things that kind of got me through while I was
yeah,
struggling when I was younger. Professional wrestling was that, and he was the figure. Like,
yeah.
he was, my hero, like he was every other kid my age. It was on a Saturday morning watching pro wrestling or whatever it
I
was,
remember
and
going to Salisbury and seeing all those guys in the Civic Center.
I used to go to the Capitol Center in
Oh yeah,
Landover, and I remember the first time I ever saw Andre the Giant in person. Like my jaw was on the floor,
yeah.
and we got real close seats one time, and we were on like they would come out like out of the dressing room on this aisle that was like to the corner of the ring, and we were kind of close to that. So Andre walked out. It was like just ridiculously big, and then one of the guys actually got his tooth knocked out and it fell on the edge of the ring. And when the bout was over, people were running up to the ring trying to get this dude's tooth.
And Jay saw it first.
I wasn't close enough. I
You
was
wanted
fairly
it.
close, but I didn't want nobody's tooth. That's just nasty.
Could have sold it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like three kind of figures, and
Well, yeah, it was. And then there was Chuck Mangione. Is that how you
yeah.
say it? And then a female singer too. She was a little older. Shoot, I can't think of who that was. There's also a female singer.
But for those of you who might be a little bit younger and either don't remember the Cosby Show or never watched the Cosby Show,
That was
and
good.
I looked up these statistics before
Mhm.
last week when we were going to have Chris on because I was curious as far as how many people viewed TV back in the heyday versus how many people view streaming now. And Cosby Show was the number one show for like 10, 12 years. And you know what the average viewership per week on that show was, Cathy?
No,
30 million viewers. It peaked at 60 million. And you know what the average not streaming, but the average TV show, like the highest show gets
Oh,
now, maybe five.
really?
Yep,
Because we didn't have all the choices.
right.
Cosby Show was it was it. It was the thing you did. And
Yeah,
that little cute little girl, what's her name?
Rudy.
Rudy.
Yep,
She was
but
so dang cute.
yeah, that was like
Sassy Rudy.
the Huxtables. Like it was everybody loved
And
Chris.
Theo was cool because he was cool. Theo was cool, but he was a
Yeah,
good
he was
guy.
kind of the mischievous one of all of them.
But
Yeah,
he was, but he wasn't,
and he was the only
like
boy because it was three
yeah,
sisters. Yeah.
with Theo.
Um, but I forgot to tell you this last week, or actually 2 weeks ago. Um, we've talked about how I like to kind of try to cook or make new things like
Oh yeah.
food wise. So I kept, it's summertime, and I was thinking, man, I remember back when my grandmother used to make like some like crazy good macaroni salad, and I'm trying to remember like how it tasted and what was in it, and I started looking up recipes for macaroni salad because macaroni salad is kind of one of the three popular summer sides. There's potato salad, macaroni salad, and coleslaw are the three like cookout side dishes, like the main ones. There's
Fair,
others, but those are
fair,
the three main ones. Yeah,
fair.
and I like all of them. And I started like looking up different recipes, and I could remember that
You're dabbling.
back in the day, because you can either make it with a mustard base or a mayonnaise base, and actually you can actually mix the two also.
Mayo all the way over here on the side.
Yes. So I
But you
remember,
can put a little touch of mayo, or you can put a little touch of mustard. Just don't
yes,
go crazy.
but I remember back in the day when my grandmother's, it didn't. I don't remember having any mustard in it. Um, so a couple weeks ago, I did that for the first time, and I made some, and I did all, and I didn't realize that vinegar is such an important.
Yeah.
It's just a teaspoon of vinegar. It helps
Did you add a little sugar?
No, I did not do sugar.
Got another
But
cameo.
I tell you, I is that your daughter-in-law?
Yes, that's the cameo of the daughter-in-law. Just snuck through me.
She's been on almost as much as Brennan has already. um, but yeah, and Cathy, it turned out so good,
Oh, you're proud of
so
yourself.
good. I did that a couple weeks ago, and then this past weekend I did the same thing. And to me, I love when like the local produce stands have
Yeah.
like fresh local tomatoes. Like there's
Yes.
like a month when they're really good,
I know,
and then
right?
they kind of go out of season. We're kind of at the end of that now. So I've been making tomato sandwiches anyway. So I put a lot of diced up tomatoes in mine. And green peppers. That's the only, and salt and pepper, and of course mayonnaise.
Stop! You're making me hungry.
Oh man, it's so good. I had some. I've still got some left. I got some tonight with a tomato sandwich for dinner
Nice.
tonight. Man, there's nothing like that. It's kind of like it's become like my summer version of beef stew when in the wintertime.
Ah,
Like the go to thing. That's going to be my go to because
it's
I
funny.
think I probably of those three. And it's funny, you can do a mayonnaise and mustard base for all three, but
Mhm.
the macaroni salad is the only one that I prefer mayonnaise. The other two, well, that's not true. Coleslaw, I prefer mayonnaise as well. But potato salad, I prefer a mustard based, which
Hmm.
is weird.
Hmm.
But I like all three. There's not too many foods that I don't like. I'll eat most anything. Um, but yeah, I wanted to kind of throw that in. That was my little. I mean, look, it's easy to make. You're not really. You're all you're doing is just boiling noodles. Mixing everything together, so it's not hard. But man, it just hit the spot. So
You're funny. You
I
made
was
me
tickled. I was tickled
cooking with
myself.
Jay. I like it. I
I
like
need
it.
to. I need to. I'm gonna this when the weather cools down and I start doing soup again. I might. Because see, last year I dabbled with both beef and chicken and did different combinations of that. Um, so I kind of broadened that a little bit. So I might
You're
try
gonna have
something.
to. You should make yourself a little cookbook.
So it used to be. I used to make my own homemade hamburger helper
Yeah.
or a goulash. Really, it's really
Did you quit
goulash.
that?
What's that?
Did you quit that?
I did because I was like, let me try something. That's when I started going back to the beef stew. So maybe I'll go back to the goulash again. So I like that too. Um, yeah, that's my check in. Tell them they don't get paid extra money for being extras in the background.
Have you ever seen Brennan's?
I've,
Or not
I've met
fiance?
her at the Halloween thing I came to a couple years ago, very briefly.
I was gonna make her pop her face in. The pool. He said our pool is like 94 degrees. Like for real, it's 94 degrees. So it's like not even worth it.
It's like bathwater, probably. Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be like 77 on Friday, so maybe it'll cool it down. Then we'll freeze. Then we'll freeze. Then we'll be complaining. That's the way weather is in Maryland.
So yeah, I thought Kath and I would jump into talking a little bit about.
Wait, hold on. This is an important deal. You should call the pub and see if we can make it at 7 o'clock. See what they're like tonight.
Well, if it's a 2 hour wait now.
If it's a 2 hour wait, we're not doing it.
But when we go there, well, you know what I'm saying? Like if we go at 7.
All right. Let me know what you want to do. I'll be willing to jump on the pub train. You can steal whatever you want. All right. There we go. The benefits of living next door. Kids can come in. Take what you want. All right.
So yeah, Kath and I are going to jump into fears and insecurities, and like I was saying earlier, we all have them. We all deal with them. They sometimes can kind of jump up and bite us and kind of control our lives, unfortunately, and kind of steer us in an unhealthy direction. But
I think they do that a lot. I think they jump up and bite us a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody, all of us.
I'm sure Cathy has read some articles and has some data for us.
Yeah, that's the nerd. But did you want to start?
Before we jump in, Cathy, let's kind of
discuss the topic.
Discuss just for the purposes of this conversation, kind of two types of fears. There's kind of what I'm categorizing as kind of the external fears, fear of spiders or fear of heights. There's things that were impacted from external, and then there's the internal fears of whether it be a fear of commitment or a fear of not being enough in a relationship or whatever. So, and I think even the external fears, at least in my opinion, Cathy, can manifest for the same reasons that the internal fears. Not always, but they come from, some of those come from an internal source, and we project them to an external fear, if you will. But I'm at least for me, I'm going to kind of concentrate on the more internalized fears.
I have 5 common fears listed. Categories, I should say.
Okay.
Would this be a good time to say those?
Yep.
I'm not saying there's not more, but we're talking about fears and insecurities. But if you're, I like to put things in buckets. If you're categorizing fears, social fears, performance fears, relationship fears, physical fears, financial fears, I think we all could relate to every single category. And and then this kind of, I think this sums up what you were trying to say. So, for example, the social fear, an example of that might be, I don't want to put myself out there in public. Like I don't feel comfortable public speaking.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to criticize me. I get this horrible feeling in my chest, or my knees are knocking. I have fear of rejection. So there's a whole social thing. Or even, we've been talking about class reunion time for us. Going somewhere with a group of people that you may not be as completely comfortable with. Whatever. This the whole social fear. Performance fear. Keep your mind clean on this one, everybody. Performance fear.
Although that could be a thing too.
I'm not talking about that one.
Well, talk to Dr. Ruth about that one.
Not today's episode. I'm not Dr. Ruth. But, just that you're not good enough. You know what I mean? So.
Could be career performance.
Maybe you're a baseball player. Dylan's a baseball player. And I can tell you the beginning of the season, every year he goes out there and says, I suck. I'm going to have a horrible year. For whatever, that's a fear, I can't even say it, fear of his, but then it's usually not true. But fear that you're not going to be good enough. I do it all the time to myself as a mom. I'm like, I'm a horrible mother. Great. I fail. Mom fail of the day, of the year, or whatever. Relationship fears, you're afraid, you're going to be betrayed, or you're not good enough for that relationship, or you're just not completely secure in those relationships. That's very common. Physical fears, maybe I don't want to be on this podcast because somebody's going to zoom in and see my amazing 11 lines right here, or I'm afraid of aging, or afraid to wear a certain outfit because you think people are locked in on my gut, whatever. The physical fears. Jay and his amazing hair. Then there's financial fears, and those are really easy. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, how am I going to make it? How am I going to pay the bills next week? How am I going to pay for these kids' college? What am I going to do when I retire? So when I'm looking at a lot of research, that's what I see the main buckets of, that they're common fears that I can say I have a fear probably in most of those sections,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but there's your continuum. Where are you on that? Right? Are
Yeah.
you? I'm in the middle. I'm at neutral, Jay, or
Yeah.
I'm really far on this, or it's not even on my radar. So I think part of it is recognizing what those fears are, and then maybe doing some self work. But I'll stop at that.
Now, do you think, as you're talking, I'm thinking, and like you said, Kathy, I think I have, at the very least, at times, have felt a fear in each one of those categories,
Yeah.
and that got me thinking. Um,
And your
some,
spider fear, I'm afraid of spiders, bees,
yeah,
anything weird like that. I would put that in the physical category. That's
right.
just,
And as you were talking about those categories, I'm thinking, I have had, um, and I'll just use financial fears as an example. I have had moments in my life where I struggled financially. So,
yeah,
but
everybody probably
that
has.
that fear was fleeting. It wasn't an ingrained fear. It wasn't a
Oh
um,
yeah, like it's temporary. It was a
yes,
temporary thing, which a
yes,
lot of these could be temporary. They could be
yes.
really ingrained, like you said, or temporary.
Yeah, I think there's. I mean, I think we all have many, many, many fleeting fears in the
Yeah,
moment or at a period of time in our life that we're afraid or insecure because of the circumstances at that moment or time in our life,
yeah,
but that they may dissipate for whatever reason. But then
yeah,
there are just some that are in our DNA that are just,
yeah.
that are kind of stuck. We're just stuck in those kind of things.
Some are natural. We just genetic,
Now,
right?
as I'm talking, I'm asking a question to myself, and as I'm saying that, because would that then make that be categorized as an insecurity if it's kind of always there?
So I would define, and I wrote this down. A fear is our response to a perceived threat. I can remember a specific time in college, undergrad, where I had to give up and give up. I had to get up before I gave up. I had to do a presentation, and I was so incredibly afraid. I had a fear. I don't even know why in this particular class. I just remember such a panic feeling, and I could not wait for that to be over. But insecurity is more of a deep rooted feeling of inadequacy, uncertainty, kind of rooted in lack of self esteem, right?
Yes,
So,
yes,
so I think insecurities are more deep, where a fear is your response.
yeah. So it
They kind of
could
go hand
be,
in hand, right?
yeah, it could be that fears, although like fear of spiders doesn't necessarily go away. It's just kind of, but that's not fear of spiders is not like I'm not good enough thing. It's just for
No,
whatever. Yeah. So
that's some
there's a
physical
difference
thing
there.
that you had. That thing's gonna come eat me alive. I
Yeah.
hate spiders,
Um,
snakes. Ooh.
but like,
It's a phobia. It's a phobia. I don't know.
yeah,
I guess there's a difference between phobia and fear.
yeah. Um, and then I mean, this could get really broad. Then there are, like, you said when you were just talking about the definition of fear, you said perceived threat. Um, but does it always have to be perceived? Because there could be a perceived threat. In other words, we make something bigger than it really is, and then there could actually be, like, if you fall from a height, there is a danger there.
Here we
So
go. Look, I got a difference between phobia and fear. Phobias, they're both emotional responses, but phobias are intense, irrational, fears that can disrupt daily life, while fears are more normal, often rational reaction to perceived threats.
Right.
So
Okay.
the spider might be more, you and me might be, that spider may not want anything to do with us, but that's our phobia. We're
Yeah.
like, ooh, but the fear is something a little different. And there, I think, and we can get into this later too, but I think there's a lot to the word uncertainty that comes into play with fear as well.
Perception.
Mhm.
Now you kind of steering a little bit towards anxiety because
Yeah, that's another word that can get in there.
part of a big part of anxiety is a perception of something that we build in our mind that's not the reality.
I know in your mind right now, you like are imagining this circles and like lines going off. I'm like trying to, you're categorizing things right now. I can see it.
I tend to image. I have imagery going. I always make an image of because I always look at it as how could I show that to someone that may not understand what I'm saying. So I get a picture in my head and try to like put it on the overhead projector as this is how it would visually look like as a picture or a drawing or.
But in this part of what we're talking about, I think that it's important for everybody to. I think everything is self awareness, right? When we're talking about self care, and this is our journey, Jay and I, and our podcast. How can we look at ourselves and be better? How can we feel better? How can we self regulate? How can we get to neutral? But I think we have to understand that fears are common. We all have them. I don't care. You can stand up and say, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm Superman. No, you're not. You're afraid of Superman's afraid of
You're
something.
afraid of telling the truth. Is what you're afraid of.
That's right. Everybody's afraid of something. I don't care what you say. Everybody's afraid of something. I mean,
And everybody has insecurities. Everybody.
I challenge you. If somebody says I'm not, I say you're full of it.
Well, they're showing their insecurity by saying they don't have insecurities.
Because I'm a big fat scaredy cat, and some things are just deep rooted. Some things are fleeting and quick. Some will come back and smack me like a boomerang. But I think we just need to be aware of them,
Why?
that they're normal and what they are. What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
That's the starting point. What is it?
And again, there's a difference between, maybe you go out in your backyard and you see a snake and you're terrified, but once you leave the backyard, that's gone. That's different than like you're holding on to something and you're just
Until they enter your house. I've had that happen.
you've created a kind of an ingrained thing, and that's kind of when that's going back to episode whatever it was when we talk about self-reflection, and this is kind of a good way for me to segue into one of my fears.
I think it's good to list them, don't you? I mean, we always talk about journaling too. I would say list them out, get it out, write it on a piece of paper. What are you afraid of?
And write down why you think that might be.
Which would be step 2. First, write it out. Just vomit it all out. That was pretty violent, wasn't it? Violent. Vomit it. You don't have to vomit. You can just write it out. Just get it out. And then you do some other work of, well, I would argue this. Get it out first. Identify where your fears are. Then what are you telling yourself about that? What's the self-talk? I'm not good enough.
Are there specific things that trigger me in these fears?
What are your triggers?
Yep.
There's lots of things. Triggers. What is my negative self-talk? Because then you got to think, is that legit? Is that valid? Is that true?
Yeah. Is that spider really going to devour me in one bite?
Right. Well, I mean, because we tell ourselves a lot of stuff in our head. Are people really as preoccupied about us as we think they are?
That kind of segues into one of mine. And Cathy, to this day, I had one a couple nights ago. I dream all the time. I probably dream 5 nights a week, all the time. And
oh, wait, are you the? You know what I'm going to say? Are you the Dreamweaver?
The Dream Watson.
Oh, that's an inside joke. Anyway, go ahead.
And half of those dreams, Cathy, have a theme of me being abandoned in some way, shape, or form.
Aww.
And now it's the modern version. In other words,
yeah.
Ironically, I'll go on a trip with a group of friends, which I would never do.
And they leave you.
And they like it's time to check out, and they leave and just leave me in the hotel. They physically abandon me, but
The
I,
truth is, you've abandoned all of them because you go to the hotel by yourself.
so I mean, to this day, I get those dreams all the time, and now I can look back and very easily pinpoint and figure all that out.
I
Um,
don't ditch you. I don't ditch you in the dream, do I? Am I ever there ditching
and
you?
here's the thing:
There's no face.
there's no. I can't identify the people. There's just a group. I can hear voices and see the backs of heads, but I don't identify most of the time. Usually, when I identify it, it's not that kind of dream. It's a I
Yeah.
have weird dreams. None of them seem to, on the surface, make sense. Although this one makes sense because I know exactly where it comes from. But it's
Yeah.
so interesting how subconsciously or unconsciously, however that works in this definition,
Yeah.
that is what I dream of most of the time when I dream because it is indicative of what I carried with me for
Sure.
my life.
Something's still unresolved, right?
Yeah.
Why still
Um,
deep unresolved.
so and the other an insecurity of mine, and I wouldn't even. It's a anomaly of mine now, whereas previously, and we were just talking about this in regards to the class reunion.
Yeah.
Um, I was terrified to be in a social setting with a large group of people, whether I
Mm.
knew them or not, especially if I did know them. Because at that point in my life, I didn't think I fit. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was, I could.
Story you told yourself. The
Yes,
negative thinking
and,
story you
and
told.
because I did that for so long, like,
Mm.
well, actually up till now. Now I look at it and I'm like, I'm not insecure about that. I just realized that because I've never really done it, I don't have the social skills. And I'm not saying that to put myself down. I just have never acquired the skills
Yeah.
to be able to just jump in smoothly and just do that and
Do you
mingle.
know what's funny of me observing you for many years? You pull that off like a champ because you look relaxed. Like you tell, I know that's how you feel because I
Right.
know you, but observing you, I would have lost all the money in Vegas on that. And that's what I find with a lot of people. Like I may say, man, they're good, they're comfortable, they're outgoing, and they'll be like, I am dying inside. I'm not really comfortable. But people are so good at masking it.
But Kathy, if it's a group of people where I don't know anybody, and for let's just say hypothetically it's a work function, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
required to be there,
Hmm.
I will find a corner or find somewhere, and if someone wants to come up to me, I'm okay with that. But I am absolutely not going to mingle. Now, if I'm in a
But you're not
situation
going to
where
go in that restaurant that I just did and then drum up like all these little.
no, now I might like if I'm eating the meal and I'm like, oh, this is good, I might like find the owner or the chef and say, hey,
Mhm.
I enjoyed the meal, and that, but I wouldn't even have done that in the past. Now, if I go into a place, Kathy, and I may only know one or two people, I'll find those one or two people and kind of stick with them until I realize, okay, I'm monopolizing these people's time. It's time for me to do whatever. Um,
Which
because
is
I
another
know,
negative thing you just told yourself.
well, but it's the truth.
They
I
can drop you.
I can't expect them to just talk to me the whole time. That's not realistic. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't. I think at this point I'm pretty darn comfortable having a one-on-one conversation with pretty much anybody, and
Good.
not really feeling comfortable at all. But
So we're addressing the social fear is what we're doing here
yes,
in this conversation
but
right
I,
now.
I just I
Which
don't
is common, right? A lot of people have that.
you know, you know just
And the more you do it,
for the same reasons I wouldn't like jump on stage and play guitar. I don't have the skill to do it. I'm not good enough. And I'm not. It's not a. I don't do it now because I feel
oh,
lesser.
now you're on performance. You went from social to performance.
Yep.
Can't play the guitar, I'm
I
not
mean,
good enough.
it's
Well, I know what you're saying.
yeah.
It's
Um,
not
it's
now if you
it's
knew how to play
it's
the
it's
guitar.
still there, but it's more it's more a result of it's kind of the result of being unhealthy for so long.
Yeah.
That's kind of like
But and if you look at you're dipping into a couple different right there, you're dipping into social and performance, maybe even some on relationship. But if you dig a little deeper and it's like, what are the causes? Why is that? Why is Jay uncomfortable in that social setting? Why are you afraid if you played that guitar, you didn't have the skill, whatever? And but you and I probably don't have the guitar skill. But what's behind
Certainly
it? What's
don't.
the root behind it?
Yeah.
And the root of many things is stuff that's happened in our childhood,
Yep.
trauma, obviously. Some people just have flat out lack of awareness. Um, the negative self talk, which is, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. I'd like to punch negative self talk right in the face if it had one. And then comparing, we compare ourselves to anything and everybody, and social media makes that worse.
I
So
think what they ought to do, Kathy, is when there's a big social gathering of a lot of people, there should be a way to there should be a tank when you walk in the event, and if someone like Kathy Castle, who has way more social skills than she really needs, and I'm not saying that to pick on you, I'm just saying,
I got you.
she gets to put that 5% in the bucket, and then this other person who's the same way gets to put their 5%. So then Jay can come along and pick up that 5% bucket and get him to neutral.
Mm-hmm. That
I,
would be cool, right?
yeah, just from a because I mean, it sounds.
You
I don't
know,
know.
there was a really cool, I think I've said this before on the podcast, but there was a really cool exercise I did with Matt Reynolds when he was here in one of his trips where you have a group. I think you might have been in one of these, Jay. I'm not sure, but you have a group of people, and everybody has a sticky notepad and a Sharpie, and then you're just going around. You don't even have to know these people, and you're writing one word on each sticky sheet. And I might say, I like your smile, and I stick it on you. I love your smile, or I think that you have a presence when you walk in the room. I think you're funny. Whatever it is, all you just write as many things as you can about as many people as you can in whatever the time frame. And just say it's 2 minutes. And I just remember pulling all these sticky notes off my shirt and looking at them, and I don't know who wrote what, right, at this point. And I'm like, wow, people really think these things. And I still have the pile on my desk at work. And it meant a lot to me. I wouldn't have think people would perceive me with these words, but you know, those are, those are, positive affirmations. It's a good practice.
It's funny. You've heard of is it immersion therapy where they
Yeah.
kind of throw you in the deep end, whatever your fear is. They
Do
just
not throw us in with the spiders.
it's funny. I kind of did that when we had the in person groups. Like that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
kind of like, and I'll tell you, Kathy, there was not all the time because there were I
I
think half the time
I
I
saw you.
I had so much like I got physically like
Mm-hmm.
symptoms, cold chills, and like tapping my foot because I couldn't sit still, and just
Yeah.
and
It
but
was
then
fun.
there was also times where I was like, oh, I got something to say, and I was anxious to talk. Um, so
Yeah.
that was kind of like immersion therapy to me. Like it's and it was I didn't intend to do that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Well,
some things are kind of easy to unravel. Some you know I didn't really realize because I don't always remember my dreams, so I didn't really realize the whole abandonment theme for the longest time until not too terribly long ago. And it just, I mean, it's all the time, Kathy, all the time. And it's the same thing. It might be a hotel this time. It might be there's a group of people were somewhere and they leave me. It's just a different geographic place.
well, and it's important. This kind of goes in line with what you say about telling your story. Just say like, people have relationships, like husband and wife, like me and Marty, for example. And if you have some fears, even though we've been married 33, I think, years, just have a conversation. Your fears change. Like, I mean, I'll be quite honest. I have a huge fear of something to happen to one of my children. It's a paralyzing fear for me.
That's a
Why?
maternal thing, yeah.
But sometimes it interferes, it's paralyzing, but to have those kind of conversations with your significant other or whoever your relationships are, so that they understand why, I'm such a lunatic sometimes, why I got to track them down on Life 360. Not like I'm trying to, stalk them, but as a mom, if I hear an ambulance, I'm like, okay, who's out, like who's dead, I immediately go to who's dead. And it's just, I don't know, sometimes it's stupid and unhealthy, but I'm aware of it, and I try to chill it and calm it, live in the present, right, and not always be focused on going right to death. But
But yeah, talking about Kathy goes to what I said earlier about trying to ask yourself why, what your triggers are, and what
yeah,
where does this, what's the root of, what's really the root of this, and it might be the actual thing.
that's me. And we're now, I'd say we've talked about what common fears are and what the categories are, and that we should identify what they are, to what causes them. We didn't get too deep of a dive in it, but and then now we're talking about managing them. So a trigger is managing, like you're identifying what a trigger is for you. That's part of the self-reflection. What's a trigger?
Yeah,
And sometimes it takes some work. You need to sit down and think about it. That's what I say. If you write it on paper, well, what triggers that? What makes me heightened or fearful? Have my fight or flight response activated? There's definitely triggers.
it's funny, Kathy. I used to be deathly afraid of driving across the Bay Bridge.
Yeah, a lot of
Deathly
people have
afraid.
that.
And
Well,
it's
that
and
might be
it's
both.
weird, like. But then I commuted over every day for a while, and I didn't even think about it. But it was funny. If I was going westbound, I had to be in the middle lane. I could not. I
Yeah,
didn't want to be
yeah.
by the rail. Now coming back, I felt much better because the guardrails on the eastbound lane are closed. You can't see through them. It's a wall. It's not an
There's
open railing.
something weird about, I don't know. The
I
3 lane traffic is makes you a little more nervous than the two. I
yes,
don't know why.
yep.
Yeah,
But I always get in the middle on the way. Oh, even now. Um,
I only
yeah,
had one time, honestly, that I can remember that I almost was coming back eastbound, that I felt really weird. And I remember I had a bag of some kind of chocolate candy, and I just took the whole bag on the way over, and I was like, wow. I'm
I've driven
stressing the whole way across.
I've driven across the Bay Bridge Tunnel 2 or 3 times and didn't have a problem at all with that. For what I think, because it doesn't get real high. It's pretty low to the water. It doesn't go
Under.
up real high.
You drove under. Oh, you mean over or under? Which
Well,
side were you?
both. Well, it's both because you do
Yeah,
both.
yeah. But
Um,
the bridge phobia thing's a real thing.
but yeah, that would never. Now there's a bridge down in Florida in Tampa it's the Skyway Bridge. It's I've never driven across it, but it just looks scary.
So I do have some other ways to manage, but I wanted to talk about this one topic. I don't know. I think I've talked about this before. VUCA, VUCA. Have I talked about that
Mm-mm.
before that you can remember? It's kind of a term that I've learned in leadership, um, management kind of stuff. But VUCA, it's
It sounds like
volatility.
a foreign cuss word.
It actually comes out of, I believe, the Army War College in California. That sounds really weird. It's a military term. But anyway, volatility is the V, uncertainty is the U, complexity is the C, and ambiguity is the A. But it's an interesting, VUCA is really interesting to me because it's a way of looking at challenges, right? Which our fears and insecurities are involved with challenges. Just, I mean, in recent history, you can think about COVID. It was a very VUCA time for all of us because we didn't know what the what, right? So if you talk about volatility, characteristics of volatility is the challenge is unexpected or unstable and may be of unknown duration, but it's not necessarily hard to understand. Knowledge about it is often available. That's volatility. An example would be prices fluctuating after a national or a natural disaster um, takes a supplier offline. So approach would be um, devote some time to thinking about being prepared in that situation. Um, so volatility just kind of, there's a challenge. Things are unstable. You didn't expect that to happen. So some fears can sneak in, right? And then that goes right into uncertainty. Despite all the information you have, you don't know what's going to happen. That could happen in business all the time, right? You got, I don't know. I don't know your business well enough to know when you could predict. You probably can't predict when you're going to be busy.
Not with flooring. Yeah.
So there's a lot of uncertainty to that. So, what you need to do is invest in as much information as possible. Interpret, collect the information, to talk about the change, trying to reduce the uncertainty. Complexity, many parts, many variables. Some can be predicted, some can't. Some are more overwhelming than others. And then ambiguity, meaning it's not clear. It's a lot of unknowns, right? It's your crystal ball is a little bit blurry. So thinking about breaking, and I know that's kind of deep, that term, but check that term out. It's really interesting to me because it is an approach that they use, when they're teaching in the military, and you've been in the military because you're dealing with a lot of wild, uncertain, crazy situations. But if we kind of train our brain or retrain our brain to how to deal with some of these things we're afraid of, then maybe we'll be a little more successful, kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe
It's funny as you were describing each of those letters.
Mm-hmm.
Two things came to mind. How all of them signified of lack of control of a situation. Every one of those letters. And to me, you could write the word anxiety over the top of it. And that
You could, right? Never thought about that. You could. You really could. It's interesting to go into a deeper dive of VUCA, because you're right. We can't control them, and it is anxiety, and then fear comes from that, and then what are you going to do? But
so the question is, chicken and egg. Does anxiety cause fear, or does fear cause anxiety? And it's probably both. It's probably situationally specific. It's just kind of that's how my mind works, Cathy.
yeah,
It probably can be both depending on the situation. Yeah,
I
it can be
wanted
one or the other. Yeah,
I wanted to say at first fear causes anxiety, but then I'm like, you could argue both points.
yeah. So they're related for sure.
They're evil cousins.
Yeah.
But back to managing, and it really does go on the self-care line that we always talk about. We already talked about self-reflecting. What's going on? What are your fears? Which triggers it? Is it true? Like, if we think everybody hates me, do they really? Do they really? What is your facts? How do you know that? Practicing self-compassion for yourself, like be as kind to yourself as you'd want to be to somebody else. We beat ourselves up all day long. I beat myself up all the time, and so I'm a hypocrite. I really am a hypocrite. I'm not gonna lie. But how we can stop the negative talk and be nicer to ourselves and not say we're a failure or we can't do something. I mean, obviously we can't do everything, but be nicer to you. And then find support, obviously, family, friends, neighbors, whoever. Sometimes we need to limit the social media, which isn't easy to do because we compare ourselves. There was a suggestion about embracing vulnerability, because if you let yourself be vulnerable, like you've let yourself be incredibly vulnerable, which means you've shared yourself and your story with other people. And I would argue that you being vulnerable has helped you heal and helped other people heal.
Yep, for sure.
Focus on the present, because when I get so wild into scenario planning. Like I said, I think everybody's dying. Like, I hear the sirens. Everybody in my family's been in the wreck. Like, how do we focus on the present, where we are, which is kind of mindfulness, right? If we just bring us back to Jay's neutral, don't worry about everything, because we can't possibly worry about everything. And then some people need to seek out some more professional help, which is fine. And what we forget to do all the time is celebrate wins and accomplishments, even if they're small. We need to.
I said that the other day on a post, Cathy. Even in the worst of times, there's you can find one win every day. It could be something as small as today was a nice, beautiful, sunny day, or I had a nice meal here, or I was a stranger held the door for me at the grocery store. there's a win somewhere every day.
Yeah, 100%.
But before we switch gears, Cathy, and talk about what we've been watching lately, I do want to share one more fear of
Yeah.
mine, and it might be obvious to you because we've talked many times, but I have this fear of not being heard, and I think a lot of people want to be heard, but like I think mine is a little bit deeper than that, and obviously it came from back when I was abused as a child, and I went to
Hmm.
one of my parents to let them know what was going on, and I wasn't heard. So it kind of has kind of manifested from that. And it's interesting as someone who has a podcast is as a a fear of not being heard. But it's and I talked about it a few minutes ago, Cathy, in those in person sessions when I would get anxious. I had something to say, and I would get
Hmm.
anxious because I was like, I got something that matters, and you're going to hear me say it. Like and I was getting physical symptoms from that. So it manifests itself from that. And I've never been one that really worries too much about if someone agrees with my point of view or has this.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that at all. But like I'm pretty adamant about, you're going to hear me. I'm very expressive and very communicative in individual relationships, whether it be romantic relationships, at work with a customer,
Hmm.
whatever it is. And now the relationships are different from situation to
Right.
situation. But I'm one of those where I'm like I'm blunt, but I'm not rude. I'm I put it out there. I get anxious, and I have had times in the past, and still sometimes now, where I'll interrupt. I'll jump in because I feel like I got something really good to say,
Hmm.
and I want people to hear it.
Yeah.
And I'll interrupt, and that's not the way to go about it. So it's just
Can I ask you a question
yeah,
about that?
yeah.
Like, did your parents, and I don't want to get into all the details about any of this, but did your parents not believe you or they didn't want to hear it? I can imagine
My
there's a
my
lot.
dad never knew ever. Well, unless he's listened to unless he's found out recently.
Mm-hmm.
I never told him because he wasn't really around. So I lived with my mom, so she
Hmm.
was my parental figure. I went to her.
Hmm.
Um, she, or again, addict.
Yeah.
She was both unwilling and unable to be a parent of any kind. She was 16 when she had me, so she was a young single mom,
Mhm.
um, not really having the best family foundation of her own to kind
Yeah.
of have drawn from. Um, it was one of those situations where um, it was being done in a situation where I was being babysat, and
Hmm.
it was in other words, she didn't have to pay for daycare because this person was babysitting for
Sure.
free, and she basically was like, "Well, I can't afford to take you out, take you somewhere," And I
Right.
mean
Right.
that's true. What she's saying is true because it was that way. But I also think it was
That was a
denial
bullying.
and not
Yeah.
wanting to, again, not unable and unwilling to be a parent and understand the whole.
Because you hear that a lot, or I've heard that a lot with people. Either, you know, I don't know if it's complex. It's complex,
Yeah,
right? Do they not believe? Like I'm thinking about somebody else right now, and I'm like, did the parent not believe, or they just didn't want it to be true? If they didn't talk about it, it wasn't really true, and life can continue in whatever chaotic normalcy they had. But if sh- she believed her daughter, then would that just blow it up? It's just so complex,
yeah,
right? Not that we're here to resolve
yeah.
childhood trauma like that, but I'm just relating it back to you mentioning that about not feeling heard, which is
But
a really
and I
good
think I've
point.
even told you this, Kathy. Even in moments where I get frustrated with someone or frustrated with a situation, if I can speak my piece, like literally within 10 minutes after getting it out, I'm good. I just need to get it out. I just need to once I express it, I can literally move on pretty quickly.
Now
But
a little bit of ice cream helps you too.
I'm not an ice cream
Is
eater.
ice cream your snack? What was it? One night you had a hard night. You got it out, and you had a snack of some sort. I thought it was ice cream. What did you have? What would you have had? There's no treat that makes you feel better, Jay.
No, I'm not. I'm not an emotional eater generally. Now, don't get me
Okay,
wrong. There's been
because
times
you're
where
not female. We like something makes us feel better.
now look.
Look,
The
look.
only time I eat ice cream is in Ocean City. That's
Famous
kind of
Amos.
my tradition. Like I go to the sweet spot on the boardwalk and get ice cream in Ocean City. Um, I'm trying to think if look. I'm a snacker. I like to snack in the evenings when I'm watching TV or whatever. But I can't remember anything like.
I did find out this weekend that true crimes make me want to eat salt. All right, I'm just going to say that.
Huh,
We'll come back to that later. Salt.
there is probably something with what chemicals are being released in the brain based on what you're watching that may dictate what. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a neurologist, but it kind of makes sense to me.
Neurosciences. Sciences.
Neurologist. Is there a difference?
No, that's the nerves.
The brain.
Yeah.
um, so before we get out here, Kathy, as usual, let's talk a little bit about
Yeah, I'm ready.
what we've been watching. And Kathy's got a list for me this week.
I'm ready. I have watched so much. You're going to be so incredibly proud of me. So, one, I went to the movies and saw Fantastic Four.
Yep.
I'll just park that. And then two, I don't know what happened. It's my kid's fault. I got on some stinking true crime stuff. So I watched the Amy Bradley cruise ship thing. Did you watch that?
Yep.
And then I watched
Disappeared. Nobody. Yeah. Yep.
I watched the Idaho murder one. That one
Yep.
messed me up a little bit.
It's been in the news. Like it just like the verdict was just handed down. Yeah. The college,
So,
the four college kid. Yeah.
so I mean, I ate. I was eating during that. I was like, I'm nervous. And then, I was peeking. I was peeking out that it was nighttime. I'm like, I shouldn't be watching it. We had all the lights off. Dylan comes home. He's like, my God, what is going on in here? We're like, shh.
It's
Like,
it's
why do you got all the lights
we're at
off?
the movies.
I don't know why we got the lights on because we're more scared. Anyway, so I have watched up some stuff, episodes and a movie. You got to be proud of me.
Yeah, I love me some true crime. There's a series on Netflix. It's called Trainwreck, but there's different things.
Yeah, I've watched any of them.
Um,
Amy Bradley, wait, what's her name? Is that her name, Bradley?
it sounds. I know what you're talking about. She disappeared off the cruise ship.
The
Nobody
missing
can
cruise
figure out. Yeah.
I wasn't ready to watch. I took it back from cruise ship, but I got opinions about that one. But the other one messed with my head a little bit. That Idaho murder thing. Oh my God, that just was. I'm like, I have no heart for that guy after watching that. I mean, not that you would anyway, but I'm like, ooh. But that Amy Bradley one, that one was very interesting. That was very interesting. I do think she was trafficked. I think she was trafficked.
Yeah.
I don't think she fell off the boat. So it's like, did this girl's missing off a cruise ship? Did she fall off the boat? Did she jump off the boat? Somebody smuggle her out? What? But whew. They were good though. They're interesting. You're a true
I love true crime. I love a doc. I found that there's a lot of British documentaries on Netflix.
Really?
Some of them are good. Some of them are not.
You know what I was? Oh, go ahead.
I'll see a title and I'm like, oh, that looks good. So I'll watch the preview and it's dubbed. In other words, they're not speaking English in the screen, but it's dubbed over. And I'm like, I can't watch that. I don't care how good the story is. The mouth doesn't go with the words. So I'm like, I can't.
I wouldn't like that. You would have been mad at me though. You couldn't have watched the Idaho murders with me because I would pause it. I had the remote. I'd pause it. I'm like, I'm so mad, and everybody's like, "Really? You just paused it? Why did you just pause it?" I was like, "I need to talk about this right now. I need to talk about it." And it's a house full of men that just stare at me like, "Really?" But I'm like, where are all the helpers? Where are all the helpers? And I know it's a small place, but it's a college campus town, for goodness sake. Like, where are the people while these children are sitting on the daggone curb while the police are in the house? Where are the people helping the police? Where are the helpers? I was really upset about that. But anyway, and then it made me really grateful that we have so many systems in place in Maryland with helpers with situations like that. We were missing a lot of helpers in that. But woo. Talk about trauma. Talk about trauma. Those kids, I don't know if you saw any of the sentencing. Then I watched all kinds of things after seeing that.
Yeah.
Trauma, those kids.
Have you watched the Murdaugh? That whole
No.
Murdaugh? Oh,
No,
that got so many twists and so many.
really.
Oh
All
my,
right. Sorry.
that's like this big. Oh my gosh, Kathy, like it's
I gotta watch that
that's
one
a
then.
lot. That's you got to watch that one.
All
That's
right.
that's along the same lines. What's the girl? Oh, the girl that was hitchhiking across the country that got killed by her boyfriend.
Oh, Petito, Gabby Petito.
Yeah, it's just like that. In other words, it grabs every emotion you have because
Yeah.
and the story gets bigger and bigger and there's so many aspects to it and like all the 2020 48 hours Dateline have
Yeah.
all done their own Netflix Hulu they like every possible place to watch one has has had one so you need to find
Yeah.
the newest one and because they talk it all starts with a, a a boat accident that kills this one girl and they talk to all the kids they were not even of age. They were drinking. But you think it's just about that, and all of a sudden, there's this other thing that happens. You know,
I guess these documentaries, they
people in
get
the family get murdered, but then there was this other person that maybe they were connected to that murder, and then there was this other kid that was run down by a car 10 years ago that they found out they had something to do. This whole Murdoch family was involved with that too.
so it's like, from a business perspective, a streaming, big money, big box, whatever, this stuff's got to be easy because the story's already written. So
Yep,
you already have the content.
yep.
But from a crime solving perspective, it's got to help that you have so many, internet detectives now on a case. And even like the Amy Bradley thing, people are like, they watched this and they're like, oh my gosh, I was in Barbados and I remember this girl and blah, blah, blah. It's just wild to me. It's wild.
So yeah,
So, anyway,
that would
that
be that would be. I would say. Well, let me stop there. What else did you watch? Anything else?
Fantastic Four. I went to the movies.
Okay.
Did you see that?
I did. I liked it. I
Okay, I
liked
did.
it. I liked it better than Superman for
I liked
sure.
it better than Superman, but not as much as Thunderbolts.
That's probably true. I would agree with that. Um, yes. The only thing I didn't like, and I didn't like this from even seeing the previews, is
Wow.
like how the color, how it was visually presented, how
It
the
was like 50s or something.
it was what it looked like the Jetsons looked like back in the day.
Now, I was thinking it was like way back. It looked like it was way back in
But
time.
yet
Like,
they were like in cars that floated and stuff.
no, yeah, but think about
And they had
if you,
spaceships that had light speed. So how
but
could
if
it be
you watch,
back in time?
but if you watch the people, the townspeople, they were dressed like ladies with the scarf tied
Well,
and
it's
the
an
whole.
alternate universe. Number one, they've established that it's
So
not
it's to
representing
me,
Earth.
it's like your space people, and they're like back in the 50s and 60s,
It just
50s,
reminded me of what the people in the 50s and 60s thought the future looked like.
right?
Which
Could
it
be,
looked like the Jetsons. How like the
yeah,
furniture and all looked like you were watching the Jetsons, and
yeah,
the colors were
yeah,
muted. It wasn't bright colors. It was very.
yeah.
It was like back when the color TV was first invented. The colors weren't very bright. It was just
You put that on purpose. Had to be an effect.
it
But
is for sure.
I wish I knew this. Dylan told me that the one dude, the fire guy,
Yep,
you know what I mean? He
yep.
was Eddie from Stranger Things, Eddie Munson. You know the rocker?
Yeah, they got killed by all the flying things in the last episode.
Yes, that was Eddie. I didn't know that was Eddie.
I didn't realize it either, but now that you're saying that, yes, I can see that. But I didn't
And
realize it either.
you didn't see Cobra Kai, right? Because there was
I
an
did
actor
not.
from Cobra Kai in that too. Because I was like, where did I see this guy? Where did I see this guy? And then I was big, got on my phone in the movie theater where they said, don't do that, and looked at the cast. Yeah, Eddie.
But yeah, I liked it better than Superman. It was a good, solid Marvel movie. I agree, it was not as good as Thunderbolts. 2 weeks ago, I watched. I know what you did last summer.
I'm scared. I
It's
don't want
not a
to see it.
sequel. It's a continuation because the same character. It's not scary like that. It's more mystery than it
I
is.
don't want to be looking around in the dark. Who's after me?
Um, I actually liked it better than I liked Superman. But that's more of a reflection of how much I really
Wait,
didn't.
what else is up there? There's one more up there right now. I know what you did last summer. Superman, Fantastic Four. There's one more because I was like, oh, we should see that one, not the
Well,
scary one.
it's
What?
funny.
What the heck
I
is
don't
the
know
other
that I'm
one?
going to go Friday because there's nothing playing
What?
I'm looking it up right now.
What is the other one?
Um,
I want.
Jurassic World.
Yes. Did you see
That's
that?
yep. That's worth seeing. I would go see that. It's
Do
solid.
you think I could get my 2 free tickets off that? Or are we out of the free? Are we in the free ticket zone yet? What is it? 2 weeks?
What are you talking? You lost me.
Because you can get because we buy a lot of tickets, so
Now
we
you
get
if it's a
points.
Sony movie, they're exempt. You can't
Oh,
or it's a Marvel's. None. In other words, you're never going to get a free Marvel movie, and you're never going to get a free Sony movie.
really? So what are my free tickets for?
You're going to end up watching from one of the other um, studios because I tried. I've probably got half a dozen free tickets waiting,
And I
but
keep trying to get that Superman pail for a discount. There's like $24. I was like, y'all got to be selling them soon at a cheap, off the cheap. I'm not gonna
so
pay
something else I've been watching, Kathy, that I talked to you about. It's a show called
that.
Building the Band, and it's been out for a little while. It's 10 episodes, and I thought it was kind of like those old shows they used to do where
Like
they would
American Bandstand or
no
something.
no 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 where a producer would bring these kids together and try to make a band out of them. I thought it was
Yeah.
like that, so I didn't watch it for a while, and then I saw a clip on TikTok of one of the singing performances, and I said, "Ooh, this is really good." So I'm like, "Let me give it a shot." So what they do, it's completely different.
Hmm.
Basically, the singers, the group has they make have all the decisions, all the all the creative stuff. So what they do is they have 50 people that are singers, and they put them in these booths, and they can't see each other. They 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 don't they can't visually look at each other at all. So
Is it
they
is it real? Is it
it's
real?
real. It's 100% real. What they do is each person gets up and sings, but the other people that are in the pods can't see the person. They can only hear them singing. And what they
Hmm.
do is they say, "Okay, this is somebody I would want in my group." So then when everybody sings, then they start doing audio calls with each other. Again, they haven't seen each other. So they
Wow.
start talking to each other and saying, "Hey, I really liked your singing. Would you like to be in a band?" So they make 6 bands, and it has to be anywhere from 3 to 5 people to make a band. AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys is the host of the show. Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls, and that just won a Tony Award. Kelly Rowland, that was in Destiny's Child with Beyonce,
Mhm.
and Liam Payne. He filmed this before he passed away from One Direction. This was
Oh,
the last thing he did before he last
really?
project he did. Yep, those are the
Yeah.
3 judges,
Oh,
but
wow.
they don't do anything. Nicole is like they're all the group's mentor. So anyway, so they each and not all 50 make the show. With however many people it makes up 6 groups, they do 6 groups.
Mhm.
So then the first time they see each other, or like just say there's a group, we'll call it Group A, and there's 4 people that are in Group
Mhm.
A, and the producers give them a song based on how they sang in their
Mhm.
auditions, and they say, "Okay, you 4 are going to sing this song." So they rehearse individually, but then they come out like the first person will come out on stage and start singing, and then the second person will come out while they're singing, and basically that's the first time they see the other person is
Oh, wow.
when they're singing this song together.
Yeah.
And it, believe it or not, Kathy, it's so seamless and so good. And
Really?
they're trying to like compose themselves
Yeah.
as they're singing. So then there's
Huh.
2 or 3 boy groups and a couple girl groups, and there's one group that's got 2 boys and 2 girls.
Little ABBA.
They oh my gosh, Kathy, they just finished, and the winner won $500,000, and they can do whatever they want with it. They can
Mhm.
go make a record, or they can, find somewhere to go tour, or they can do whatever they want. But it's so it's
Hmm.
it's so like to watch these people that don't know each other at all to come together and be able to sing that good together. Like the last two groups, one was three girls, it was an all girl group, and the other group that was next to last was the two boys, two girls, and they're called season four because it's four of them. They like, and they kept saying that to them. They're like, they're like the misfits. There's these four people that if you were to look at them, no one would say, no record company would say, I want you as a pop star. They sing great, but they would never get chosen as a pop star because they don't have the right look. You know what I mean? But
Ah,
they're all four, but and they're so good singing. But when they sing together, Kathy, it's like butter. It's so stinking good.
wow.
And it was a split vote because the three judges picked the winner, and one Kelly Rowland picked season four, and the other two picked. It's called Three Quincy, not frequency, but three. The number three Quincy because it's three girls. They won, and they were really really good too. Um, but it's called Building the Band. It's on Netflix.
Check it out.
It's so like Kathy. It
You
is
think they'll do
so.
another? Is it like that? Like it'll be another competition, or was it like a one?
I would guess based on that it's in the top 10 on Netflix that it's gonna will be
Uh,
they're gonna continue it. I would think
yeah. Huh.
because it's been successful and it's such a great idea because like now Nicole Scherzinger would like give them tips and say try this or maybe do this or you need to work on your choreography whatever she was giving
Yeah.
them advice but they did everything themselves. They chose each other. There wasn't anybody. They did everything. They lived together. They put them in hotel rooms together. They literally each group
Oh
lived in
wow.
the same hotel room while the whole process went on. It
Huh.
was so freaking good.
I have to check it out. Let me ask you this. You know how you start looking at stuff and then it just keeps coming up. What about that new Naked Gun movie? That's not out.
It's an
And I
East,
was
yeah, it's
never,
out. It's an Easton.
it is out?
Yeah, Liam Neeson is playing. I just
I was not a Naked Gun fan, but I know a lot of people are.
I,
But I'm more interested in the Pam Anderson, Liam Nielsen thing. You think that's real or that's scripted for this
I don't know.
marketing?
When today, because the new movies come out on Tuesdays when they
Ah,
so like I don't always do. I want
did that come out today?
no, it's not out today, but
Oh,
it was showing as coming out this weekend,
okay.
and I was like, "There's nothing else I want to see." There's Bad Guys 2, which is animated.
Is
Um,
animated?
Bad Guys 2 is
Was the first one?
yeah.
Huh.
It's with the wolf and the snake, and
Oh,
they're
oh,
bank
oh.
robbers.
That's not what I thought. Okay, okay, okay. That's not what I thought.
um, and I'm like, it might be one of those weeks, Kathy, where I don't go to the movies. It's like either it's one of those two because I've seen the other ones. Um,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
the Smurfs, the new Smurfs movie, I think is playing too. Which now that I think about it, it does have music in it. They sing a lot because it's at least it's like popular people's voices
Yeah.
singing. So that might be a possibility. So, um, but I have an announcement for you.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
ready.
are you ready?
Drum roll.
You're gonna like this for two reasons. The next season of The Voice
Yeah.
starts September 22nd. It's pretty quick.
Who's on it? Are you gonna tell me Rick Springfield?
Hold on. There is Reba McEntire.
She's coming back, Reba.
Yep. Niall Horan,
Okay.
which he's been on twice and won both seasons
Yeah.
he's on. Michael Bublé is returning.
I love Michael.
And are you ready?
I'm scared. Is it Snoop? Is he coming back?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop's back.
Yep.
Snoop. I thought you were gonna say my boy Rick Springfield's coming up.
No.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't,
say it like that.
no offense, but I don't
Don't
think
say it like that.
he's not current enough to be considered.
Listen, you better give him a chance. You better stop. You better stop.
So yeah, and then
Snoop is back.
the
That's a good group.
next February, I think it is, they're doing what's called the Voice Champions, which is Kelly Clarkson, Adam Levine, and John Legend, just three of them. And I don't know how they're going to. It's
Is
called
that a new
it's called
thing?
the Voice Champions. So I don't know if they're going to bring back some singers. I don't know, but it's different.
Because they've won. Well, is that what you mean by that, Voice Champions?
I don't know because it's only three because it's normally four judges. It's
Yeah.
just those three people. I don't know. I haven't really read into the
Yeah.
format, but it's called the Voice Champions.
So who did we have when we had Snoop before? Snoop, Reba, Michael, and who was the fourth? Was it another girl? Oh, was it another girl? Was it? I don't know. Who else was with Snoop?
Was it Gwen? It was Gwen. It was. It was Gwen that season because Kelsey Ballerini was the girl this past season.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was Gwen.
I wasn't as with her. I mean, I like
She
her.
did fine. I was okay.
Just like with Carrie, I wasn't as on Idol.
Yeah, it's different.
Who's coming back on Idol? Do we know that?
I don't know. I mean, if Carrie signed like a 3-year contract, then she's going to come
Yeah.
back unless she decides not to come back. I don't know.
I'm talking to you like you're like the voice, the singing competition manager.
Like
You're
I'm the hub.
the hub, the singing competition hub. All fans. Jay's got it.
But you know what, Kathy? 6
What
weeks from this coming Saturday is the
is?
expo.
Oh yeah, I announced it today again. I announce it everywhere I can.
It's the Eastern Shore Self Care Expo, 8 to 12 at the Talbot County Community Center in Easton. We will have 40 vendors of self care, wellness, and mental health all coming together in the same location. There will be 3 food trucks outside. Um, it's just an opportunity to kind of see what our local community and some not so local um, have to offer as far as providers in those fields. And um,
Mhm.
even if you're not like looking for some self care things to do or kind of going through some stuff, it'll just be neat to come out and kind of see, just kind of learn like what is available. And of course, if you're going through some stuff and you're kind of wondering, what can I do for self care and what can I do for wellness, perfect place. 40 folks all in the same spot at the same time. Uh,
Mhm.
Come on out, check us out. Yeah, it's coming up quickly. Colin Perry messaged me the other day. She's like, "Wow, it's really going to happen." I'm like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
it really is."
Yeah, it's legit.
So yeah. So anyway, thanks guys for tuning in this week on another episode of Eastern Shore Talk. We will catch you next time and take care. See you guys.
Bye.